to solve this inequality here in number 11, let's realize that this right here is really this, right? We don't actually write this, but it's really this. So this is kind of what we just see in our head. And then you can see what you're going to do here is you're going to divide by, -1 is multiplying x, so we'll divide by -1. But alert, we're dividing by a negative, so we know that we have to change the direction of that inequality sign. So -1 divided by -1 on the left is just 1, so we'll get x now less than or equal to, we'll get 15 over -1. So x is less than or equal to -15. Let's get the graph form. So because we have a strict, an inequality, non-strict inequality, right? We got that equal sign, greater than or equal to. We're going to locate -15 and draw a closed circle at -15. And the x's, you can see the x's are to the left. The arrow goes to the left. The x's are to the left. We want numbers smaller than -15. So here's the inequality form, the graph form, and now the interval form goes like this: lower, comma, upper. Lower bound, comma, upper bound. Left, comma, right. So left, that just goes out here to -infinity. So we'll write a -infinity, comma, and the upper, well, the upper's right here at 15, and it's included. So we're going to get -15. Now, infinities always have parentheses, but because that -15 is included, we will draw a square bracket. I'm going to start number 12 like this. I see the negative is out in front. Now, I think it's more convenient in terms of solving problems if you write the negative on top. So I'm going to rewrite this like this. -5 over 3x strictly greater than, what do we have here? In number 12, we've got -5. Okay, now I see I've got a multiplication and a division. I'm going to undo that division first with a multiplication. So I'm going to multiply by 3, alert. I'm multiplying by a positive, so no change in the sign, in the direction of the sign. Sign's going to stay the same direction. So I'll get -5x greater than, now it's 3 times -5, so I'll get -5x strictly greater than -15. And now I see I've got a multiplication by a negative. I'll undo that multiplication with a division. So we're going to divide by -5. Alert, we're dividing by a negative, so I know I have to change the direction of that symbol. So we're going to get -5 over -5 is just 1. So I get x is now strictly less than, okay, -15 divided by -5. We'll get x is strictly less than 3. So here's the inequality form. Our graph is going to look like this. I'll locate 3, and it's an open circle, right? It's an open circle because of the strict inequality, So 3, the x's are to the left, the arrow goes to the left. And in interval form, lower, comma, upper. There is no lower, it goes off to infinity. So it's -infinity, comma, the upper is 3, and neither one of those are included. In number 13, we're going to do this, solve this one by adding 2 and then dividing by 5, right in that order. So let's add 2. Now I'm just going to do this. This is going to be -5x. If I add 2, I get 25. And now I'm going to divide by 5, right? Divide, because we got a multiplication. So the plan is to divide by -5, but alert, we're dividing by a negative. So I'm going to change the direction of that sign. So we'll get x is now less than, strictly less than, 25 over -5. So x is strictly less than -5. There's the inequality form, and I'm just going to stop there. You can probably figure out the graph form and the interval form. Now here in number 14, we've got x's on both sides. I got 6 on the left, but only 4 on the right. So let's get rid of these on the right. Let's get all the x's on the left. So let's subtract 4x. So the plan is to subtract, right, that 4x. So if we do that, we're going to get 6x's minus 4x's leaves us 2x's over here, plus 1. That's less than or equal to -13. Now, let's subtract 1. and divide by 2. So if we subtract 1, we'll get 2x less than or equal to negative 13 minus 1 is negative 14. I'm going to divide by 2, but alert, we're dividing through an inequality, so I know if I multiply or divide by a negative, I have to change the direction of that symbol. But I'm not. I'm dividing by a positive. Even though I'm dividing into a negative, it doesn't matter. I'm dividing by a positive. I'm not dividing by a negative. So if I divide everything by 2 here, I'll get x less than or equal to negative 7. Now, while we're here, what would happen if we did this? If we started up here, and if we subtracted the 6x, what if we got all the x's on the right side? Say we just decided to do that for some reason. Let's just see what would happen. So if I subtract 6x, I'm going to be left with 1 less than or equal to negative 2x minus 13. Now let's add the 13. So I'll get 1 plus 13 is 14. So I'll get 14 less than or equal to negative 2x. And I'm going to divide by that negative 2, alert. I'm dividing by a negative, so I'm going to change the direction of that symbol. So I get this. 14 divided by negative 2 is now greater than or equal to x. 14 divided by negative 2 is, I'm going to do it right here, is negative 7 greater than or equal to x. But this is awkward. It's just awkward to have x on the right side. This says negative 7 is bigger than my number. Well, let's turn this around. So it's like we did this before. Just turn the whole thing around. Just like pick it up and flop it over. It goes like this, right? If I am older than you are, then you are younger than I am. So just turn the whole thing around like this. X is now less than or equal to negative 7. Does that make sense? Like if I am older than you, you are younger than me. And then this agrees with what we've got up here. Number 15, we've got, what have we got here? Look at this. We've got 9 x's and then another one. So we've got 10 x's on that left side plus 2, strictly greater than 5 x's minus 4. Now, let's get all the x's on one side. We've got 10 on the left, 5 on the right. Let's get rid of these. Let's get them all on the left. So I'll subtract these 5 x's. So 10 x's minus 5 x's is 5 x's plus 2. That's strictly greater than negative 4. We're going to subtract 2, so that'll give us negative 6. So we'll get 5x is greater than negative 6. And now I'm going to divide by 5, alert. But I'm dividing here by a positive, so no change in the direction of that sign. So we'll get x is strictly greater than negative 6 over 5. And that's it.